We have a big severe weather event on the way to southeastern Wisconsin on Monday. Hey, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks. Here is what has changed and what we're expecting. Make sure to follow me and subscribe for the latest weather information. Now, let's take a look here at the enhanced or level 3 risk for severe thunderstorms on Monday. Right off the bat, time frame is 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Monday. Okay, and this is a level 3 risk for just about everyone. We're seeing in Kenosha, you are in the level 2 risk, but I think it's a sizable risk for everybody here. So again, just to start out, 3 to 11 p.m. is the time frame on Monday. Now, we could have some scattered non-severe thunderstorms Monday morning into midday, still some surface-based wildfire smoke Monday morning as well, but the concern really ramps up as we heat up during the afternoon. In fact, there's going to be a heat index around 94 on Monday afternoon. So we're going to have the heat and humidity in place. A cold front will be coming through as well. So let's start out here by looking at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook. I showed you the zoomed in view. This is the broad view here. Again, the orange area is showing that enhanced or level 3 risk. This is the tornado breakdown. And I'll kind of read to you some of the cities in that hatched area. And this is where the Storm Prediction Center is expecting the potential for strong tornadoes. That would be places like La Crosse, Wausau, Stevens Point, Marshfield, Wisconsin Rapids, those areas. Then in the brown shaded area, that's still a significant tornado risk, just less than the hatched area. That would be Madison, Green Bay, Appleton, and then it gets lower as you get into Milwaukee. Now, I'm not totally buying that at this point. This could change, which has me a bit concerned, which we'll talk about. Wind, notice how we're all in the strong winds. There's the potential here for over 70 mile per hour winds if these storms really get going. Hail is also a big threat as well. There's a large, greater than golf ball sized hail threat out of this as well. Again, this is a significant severe weather risk. So now what I want to do, I'm going to reset this for you. I want to show you one of our high resolution computer models. And you know I like to do deep dives, right? So we're going to get into the science of this here. Now, you can see Wisconsin. That's right here where my cursor is. If you look up to the northwest, what we're looking at here is at 18,000 feet. Okay, and so I'm looking at storm system level here. All right, and you see these red areas? These are little storm systems up to the northwest. And those are going to be moving in. Let me take you through time. This is now Monday afternoon. And what you're going to notice, there are two of them here, right? What you're going to notice about the one in the Dakotas, watch how it races in as we go into Monday night. So this is going to provide the lifting for us, okay? And so this is when you hear the Storm Prediction Center talking about vorticity and things like that. This is what they're referring to, all right? So now I want to take you down to the surface, and this is what everyone's concerned with, right? What is this going to look like? And these high-resolution computer models have gotten pretty good. Now, it may not be exact down to the county. Things may very well change, but as of right now, you know, we're about 24 hours out from the event, and I think it gives us a pretty good indicator of what's going to happen, even though things could change a little bit here. So let's dive into this. Again, you're looking at northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, so this is going up to Sheboygan and Fond du Lac counties and down to the Illinois border, as you can see here as well. So let's start out. We're going to take you into the morning hours. This is about 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and you see some stronger storms out west of Madison. We may end up seeing a couple of those showers or thunderstorms around midday. This is noon, okay? So you see a couple of rain showers, maybe a rumble. Not a huge deal. Assuming we clear out from that and get hot, which is the forecast, a high of 90 with a heat index of 94 and dew points in the upper 60s, watch what happens here. Now here we are at 4 p.m., and you see some strong to severe thunderstorms starting to develop. So after 3 p.m. for a start time, and then as we go into the late afternoon and evening, watch what happens here. So now we're going towards 7 p.m. And look at this. This is almost off the chart, especially if that were to happen. Look at that supercell, Dodge County into Waukesha County on Monday night. So this is 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and then 9 p.m. towards Kenosha, okay? Again, may not happen, but what it's indicating is it's not only that storm, other storms here as well, being pretty monsterish in terms of hail, wind, and the potential for tornadoes, okay? So We'll see. Again, this could change, but what the model is showing right now is the environment is capable of producing monster storms here in southeastern Wisconsin. Again, 3 to 11 p.m. Now I'll take you, this is 10 p.m., 11 p.m. moving away from us. All right. I know it's pretty scary looking, and it's certainly something that gives us a little bit of pause because this looks to me to be a pretty significant event, assuming that it does indeed pan out. So let's dive into this a little bit more, because I know many of you have weather anxiety. And listen, I grew up with a lot of weather anxiety. That's one of the reasons why I'm a meteorologist. And so I don't want you to be anxious about the weather. I want us to be anxious about the weather so you don't have to. So let's talk about this more. This is why I do these deep dives, because I really want you to understand what's going on here when it comes to the meteorology of it. So now I'm going to show you a couple things. Again, we're going to deep dive this. I'm going to also show you the NATOcast AI product here in just a moment. So this is an atmospheric sounding. So if you were to get into a hot air balloon and you were to go up, this is tomorrow afternoon, the temperature is in red, the dew point is in green, and then these are the winds, wind direction and wind speed going up. Do you see why I have gray hair when we look at these types of charts? So what this is indicating is some intense wind shear, meaning that as you go up, the winds start to get stronger. And we're also seeing a little bit of turning there with height, meaning that we're getting that directional wind shear as well. Now, this particular sounding is showing weak tornado sounding. I think it could be a bit stronger than that. What I'm looking at is actually a couple more things here, and it's towards the bottom. Number one, it says surface cape. Okay, let me point my cursor there. See that where it says 1907? That is the energy in the atmosphere. The hotter we get, the more energy there is for thunderstorms, okay? Number two, if you look down here, I'm looking at this little value, D cape, downdraft cape. That's for strong damaging winds. Anything over 1,000 is strong, and that's what we're seeing there. So strong damaging winds. And then I'm also looking over here at values of what we call storm relative helicity and wind shear, and we can do some calculations with that, and that's where the Storm Prediction Center came out earlier today and said that this VGP parameter, vorticity generation parameter, was very high. And what that does is that is basically a calculation showing when we have horizontal wind shear, so in other words, a horizontal circulation, and it gets tipped into the vertical with that wind shear and the storms coming through, is that vorticity strong enough to produce tornadoes? And in this case, the answer is yes. So I'm peeling back the layers just to show that, yes, it's more than just what one computer model is showing, right? It's bigger than that in terms of all the different indices that we look at. Now I want to show you, and this is one of my favorite products, which is this NATOcast viewer. And let me set this up for you here. And I'll show you one more thing after this too. So this is an AI product that I think does a really good job when it comes to severe weather prediction. It's showing a lot of promise. So this is the tornado prediction here. Again, showing it higher up in northern Wisconsin, but again, a fairly sizable risk across the state, okay? Wind, look at that. So here's the question. Do these storms develop over us? Do they develop to the northwest? If they develop to the northwest, it gives it more time to generate those winds, and I think that's what NATOcast is picking up on for us. And again, that could be hurricane force winds. And also hail. Again, notice the hail parameter here as well. So, again, all of this is pointing to the potential of severe thunderstorms coming on in. I'll give you kind of one other view here that I often like to show, and this is just the comparison of, this kind of gives you an example here. This is the comparison of the severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center's forecast, along with, this is Colorado State. Okay, so this is another one here, and it really matches very well. This is the tornado threat on the left. In the middle here, that is going to be your hail threat with that. And then on the right is going to be the wind threat. So you can see, again, it kind of matches that NATOcast product as well. All right, so what does all of this mean for us as a whole? Let's talk about it. Number one, severe thunderstorms are just as dangerous as tornadoes. We saw that, unfortunately, on July the 3rd on Geneva Lake, in the Lake Geneva area, right? So we need to take severe thunderstorms just as seriously as tornadoes. What that means for you is you need to have multiple sources for weather alerts, all right? So various apps, Fox 6 Storm Center app being one of them. It's great. You can set up various alerts, but again, have a couple of apps. A weather radio is a really good thing to have. You can go pick one up for, anywhere from $30 to $60. That's good to have as well, especially if the power goes out. Fox Local, and I say that, and I know, I work for Fox 6, but the Fox Local app is huge because if the power goes out, you can still watch us live. Now, the World Cup is coming to an end, which means you're going to see a lot of us, if this verifies, on television on Monday night, all right? And that's where the Fox Local app is critical as well, because if you're not near a TV, you can still get us, all right? So make sure you have all of that. And I think the biggest point to make is just stay weather aware. If you've stayed to this video this long, well, you're going to stay weather aware tomorrow, right? Because you're into this. And please tell your friends, tell your family, share these posts and products, because we want to get the message out there that it could be dangerous on Monday afternoon and Monday evening. And one final thing I want to address is the weather anxiety portion of this, because I've heard from many of you who have said, look, your posts are getting me really nervous here, and understandably so. And that's not my point, and that's not my intention, is to scare people, right? I don't want to alarm people, and I don't want to scare people. What we want to do is make people aware, because awareness is the biggest thing. Once you're aware that there is a threat, now you can plan, okay, where am I going to be between 3 and 11 p.m.? Make sure that there's a shelter somewhere nearby wherever you're going to be, okay? So that's really the important point that I want to make. Again, information and education are the two things that can combat weather anxiety. That's why I'm going so long on videos like this, because the more you learn about these storms, I hope, the less afraid you become of them. That was at least my case back when I was a kid. And so I went from being petrified of tornadoes to chasing tornadoes. And I think that that is really important, and it's an important point to make, is that the reason why we do what we do is for you, the viewer. And we want you to be informed, educated, and safe. But that's why I'm so big on weather education. Both on air during tornado warnings, I'll be talking about what you're actually seeing on radar and kind of trying to peel those layers back. Because look, the scary part about severe weather is uncertainty, right? And the more we know about an event, hopefully it takes some of that uncertainty away. All right, so stay tuned for updates. Again, make sure to follow on all the social media channels. I will keep you posted. We will keep you posted, and we'll get through this event. The good news is once we get past tomorrow, I think we're looking pretty good, and humidity will drop a little bit towards the middle part of the week as well. Have a great night, and please stay tuned.